Welcome to your Astro Forecast for the week of September 16th. I'm Sarah Nicole. This is Twisted Goddess Tarot, and my mission is to help you navigate the cosmic energies with greater awareness. If you're watching right now, you're probably watching the replay, and if that's the case, leave a comment so that I can come back and say hi to you. If you're new here, we do this every Monday where I chat about what is happening in the skies to bring light to how this week's astrology may affect you. Of course, this is going to be on a collective level. How these astrological events affect you personally will depend on how it's interacting with your birth chart. All right, we've got something big happening this week, and that is what we're going to start chatting about. On Tuesday, September 17th, we have our full moon lunar eclipse. This is going to be a super full moon, which means it is closer to the earth. It looks bigger in the night sky. It is a partial lunar eclipse, which means it won't be really visible to us, right? But it is still powerful as an eclipse. So let's chat about that. The moon in Pisces, first of all, this is going to be a Pisces full moon. First and foremost, putting aside the lunar eclipse part. So this is the moon in Pisces gives us peace. It gives us dreaminess. We do have to be aware of depressive tendencies though during this time. This is a time to work on the deeper aspects of yourself. Anytime we have a Pisces full moon, or anytime the moon is in Pisces at all, it's really a time to work on the deeper aspects of yourself, on the spiritual side of you. Now, this is opening up our eclipse portal for September and November. We're having this full moon lunar eclipse. Later, we're going to be having, on October 2nd, we're going to be having the new moon solar eclipse. So this is kicking off our second pair of eclipses for the year. We had a pair of eclipses already in March and April. But this one is really special, right? Because the eclipses happen wherever the north and south node are. So right now we've really been working on the axis of the Aries Libra axis, because the north node is currently in Aries and the south node is currently in Libra. But this one is really special. The full moon lunar eclipse that we are having on Tuesday in Pisces is very, very special because, as I said, eclipses only happen where the north nodes are, but I just told you the north node is in Aries, and this is happening in Pisces. This is because we're getting a little sneak peek. It's kind of opening up that portal. This happens every time. The lunar nodes stay in the same sign for about 18 months. So every year we get this period of time where we open up the next portal before we've closed off the last one, right? And so that's what we're doing here. This lunar eclipse that we're having on Tuesday, it's our first eclipse that's going to be happening in the Pisces Virgo axis, which is something we're going to continue to work through all throughout 2025. And it's going to give us a little sneak peek. This eclipse that is happening on Tuesday is going to give us a little sneak peek of what we're going to be confronting over the next year, what we're going to be confronting over the next 18 months and then some, right? Since the nodes aren't even there yet. January 12th is when the nodes are going to shift into Pisces and Virgo, right? So this lunar eclipse that we're having on Tuesday in Pisces is opening up that portal and is giving us a little bit of a sneak peek of the things that we're going to be working on, right? Because right now we're in that Aries and Libra portal, that Aries and Libra axis, where we're really looking at the me, which is Aries, versus the we, which is Libra. We're really looking on balancing out our independence versus our codependence. We're really looking at balancing out, where do I put me first and where do I put others first? And we're really trying to find that balance, because that's what these axes are all about, right? Each sign has a sister sign, which is on the other side of the axis, and it's all about they're either side of the pendulum, right? And the pendulum swings to one side or the other before it finds balance. So the goal is always finding balance. This eclipse that's happening on Tuesday, the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces on Tuesday, is going to be giving us a sneak peek. It's outside of where the nodes are right now, and it's going to give us a sneak peek of what we're going to be working on once the North Node and South Node shift on January 12th, 2025. And at that point on, we're going to be working on that axis, balancing that out, the mundane versus the spiritual, the logical versus the belief system, the day-to-day life versus your astral life, right? We're going to be working on that for 18 months, for a year and a half, all through 2025 and halfway through 2026. So really pay attention to this one, because this is a full moon, and the full moon is a time of illumination. It is a time where we can see things more clearly. So this is going to illuminate some of the topics that you're going to be wanting to work on for the 18 months when the North Node is in Pisces and the South Node is in Virgo. Remember that eclipses are highly transformational. They're said to bring about fated events, fated situations, fated relationships, fated lessons. And just remember also that fate is neither good nor bad. It's simply what is needed for you in this soul journey right now. This is going to be a North Node eclipse, like I said, meaning that fated experiences, these fated experiences are meant to be new lessons. It's meant to be opening up a new chapter, right? It's not a time to revisit lessons. It's not going to be a time to revisit relationships. It's not going to be time to revisit experiences from the past, although that may tempt you, right? Whenever we have a North Node eclipse, we're wanting something new. Whenever we have a South Node eclipse is when we're looking at revisiting some past lessons, okay? This eclipse on Tuesday is going to be conjunct Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Neptune retrograde is a time where we take the rose-colored glasses off, where we can see things, right, that we can see beyond the smoke screen. And so again, this full moon, this illumination of what we might be working with over the next 18 months with opening up this Pisces eclipse portal, with this Neptune retrograde sitting very, very closely to that eclipse, is certainly a time where be on the lookout, right? Keep your eyes open, all three of them. Those of you who get it. Keep your eyes open, because certainly, hey Danny, blessed be, because certainly this eclipse on Tuesday can illuminate some areas where we have some work to do, right? Where we have some work to do. Or it could illuminate some new opportunities, new experiences, new relationships, right? It's really going to depend on what area of your chart this is activating, and you can look at that by seeing, where is Pisces in my chart, right? What house is it in? And that's going to be where it's activating for you. This eclipse is also going to be creating a sextile aspect, which is a harmonious aspect to Uranus, the planet of unexpected change, as well as a sextile to Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, Pluto being the Phoenix, Pluto being death and rebirth, Pluto being transformation, destructive, very Kali energy. It's also going to be creating a square aspect to Jupiter in Gemini. So what does that all mean? If I were to put that in a nutshell, that would mean there's going to be an illumination of some changes, Uranus, that we need to make in order to continue to grow. Jupiter growth, right? One thing is certain with this lunar eclipse on Tuesday, your inner voice really has to be your guide, right? And that's one thing that's for certain, because we're moving towards, it's opening up this portal of North Node in Pisces, where we're moving towards trusting our inner voice. We're moving towards trusting our intuition. We're moving towards trusting that inner psychic inside of you, more so than just blindly following what the tangible, right? Because there's always more. There's always something behind the smoke screen. There's that Neptune retrograde that's conjunct this eclipse. There's always something behind it, right? We're leaving behind the the period of time where we can only believe what we can see and what we can touch. And we're starting to understand that actually there's some things happening behind the curtain that we don't get to see, right? And so there's some illumination with this full moon eclipse. So that is the eclipse. I'll certainly post about it on Tuesday as well. On Sunday, September 22nd, we are going to be having the autumn equinox. And along with the autumn equinox, which brings a time of balance, right? We are also welcoming in the beginning of Libra season. So whether you are a Libra or not, we're all going to feel this energy over the next month while the sun is in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus, the planetary body of love and beauty. It's represented by the scales, embodying balance and harmony. And in tarot, Libra is represented by the Justice card, reminding you that when your equilibrium is knocked off balance, you can always find your way back to center. So as the sun moves into the constellation of Libra, you may feel a call to examine your relationships and see where greater balance and harmony is needed. You may also feel a call to take a more relaxed and easygoing approach because this cardinal air sign knows that balance rarely comes from force, right? The challenges of Libra season, though, are that of indecisiveness and the potential for people pleasing. So be on the lookout for that. If indecisiveness becomes an issue, lean into your intuitive mind over your logical mind, and be mindful that in the process of seeking balance, what is fair should always be considered for you as well, right? What is fair? I often tell people fair doesn't always mean equal. It just doesn't, right? If you're a Libra, claim your season. Let us know in the comments. And that means it's your time for the birthday tarot reading as well. You can find that on my website. And then also on Sunday, September 22nd, Venus is going to be moving into Scorpio, where it will stay until October 17th. So Venus is the planet of love, beauty, harmony, values. It's going to be moving into the depths of Scorpio. And while it does that, we really begin to crave more depth in our relationships. It's time to really step out of keeping the peace because Venus is leaving Libra, and step into some real vulnerability, right? That's a Scorpio term for sure, vulnerability. If you're single, be mindful because Venus and Scorpio can influence you to fall hard and fast. If you're in a relationship, it's time to connect deeper, to become more intimate, to open up more. So that's a little bit about Venus and Scorpio. Again, we're just craving more depth in our relationships. We're craving more intimacy. We're craving more vulnerability. And while yes, Venus does speak to love because it speaks to relationships, we don't just apply this to our romantic relationships. We can apply that to all of our relationships in life, to our friendships, to our business partnerships, to our romantic relationships, to our relationship with ourselves. To our relationship with money. That's why Venus rules money as well, right? Any of your relationships, we're moving into this time where we're craving honesty, depth, intimacy, vulnerability, and some real substance, right? So that's what we have happening in the cosmos this week, and that was your Astro Forecast. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and this will be available for the replay. So if you missed the beginning, or if you'd like to come back throughout the week and remind yourself what is happening, you can do that. Also earlier today, I did do a little post about Shadow Work October, which will be my 4th annual, hosting the 3-week virtual shadow work immersion. I'll post more details about that soon, but you can check out that post, Leave a Pumpkin, if you're interested in getting the enrollment details. We're going to be doing something different this year. I try to do something a little bit different every year with the shadow work immersion. That way, if you are coming back year after year, you're not getting the same 3-week immersion, right? You're getting something new. You're getting something different. It's also my hope to be able to introduce you to different types of shadow work, because what works for one person does not work for everyone, right? And so this year I found a really amazing oracle deck called the Shadow Work Oracle Cards. 2 years ago we did a tarot-led journey. We used the tarot cards for our shadow work practice, and this year we're going to use the oracle cards. You don't have to have this deck, right? I have it. I'm going to be pulling a card each day and pulling some journal prompts out of these cards. And so we're letting spirit guide us. We're letting spirit guide which shadow work prompts we're working through, right? There's that eclipse, right? There's that eclipse happening where I was talking about trust your intuition, trust your inner voice, and we're doing that this year. Instead of me making a formatted program, we're letting spirit kind of guide us through that, right? There's also, of course, going to be a welcome live. There's going to be a guided meditation live. There's going to be a Q&A live. There's going to be a group Reiki live at the end of it. So I did want to pull a card from the Shadow Work Oracle deck just to give you a little hint of what we're going to be doing, right? Hey, Mariah. So this one says to find wholeness, and look at that with the little puzzle pieces, trying to find what fits, right? So it says bring together fragments that complete you, acceptance and inner peace. So for this one, I would pull this card in the morning, and then I would create some shadow work prompts off of this card. Off the top of my head right now, of course, I would sit with this for a little bit, but off the top of my head, I would certainly have you list some things that you thought were missing from your life, right? And then I would probably go through and say, does that actually make you less of a whole person? And we would really work through that, right? We would work through, I'd pull out journal prompts, I would pull out some affirmations, and we would really work through that during the day, finding that wholeness. Are you whole on your own, or is there something missing from you? And of course, the goal is to come at the end of the day to circle back around to, oh, I am whole. I don't need anything outside of myself, right? There are great additional tools outside of myself, but I am whole as it is, and coming to a place of acceptance and coming to a place of inner peace. So that's just an example of what we're going to be doing in the Shadow Work Immersion this year, 4th annual. Enrollment details for that will be up soon, but I did post a little sneak peek post so that you can say, hey, I'm interested, make sure you get me those details. All right. Love you all, and I will see you soon. Have a beautiful week.